Alrighty guys, welcome back to the channel. We've got a video here by Kimberly Hill, men's dating and relationship expert. 3 reasons women don't seem impressed by you. And this is for all you post-divorce or guys who are post-bad breakup.
And you are dating again after, let's say it's maybe 5, 10, 20, or even 30 years where you have been out of the kind of dating game, let's call it. It can feel almost impossible to know how to make a darn woman happy, how to please a woman. And you might be thinking that...
Well, it is just about, long term it is. You can do it in the short term. You can get them going with all the emotions, the fantasy love and all of that in the early stages of dating. But really long term, it's very difficult to keep someone consistently happy. And if someone isn't well balanced and they're not happy, they're gonna bounce on you. So that's more or less just about how most relationships end, especially once the woman's initiated it. So keeping women happy, that's a myth. I think women, for the most part, not all of them, so a large proportion of them have undiagnosed mental health issues, anxiety, depression, manic type behaviors. Like I've witnessed a lot of it. So being happy, they tie that to how the man makes them feel. And so if they're feeling down, well, the symptom is you apparently, and they've got to get rid of that. So trying to keep women happy, guys, it's a fruitless quest.
Well, I'm doing the same things that I remember doing when I first met my wife or my long-term partner, but these just aren't landing anymore. They're not adding up. I don't feel like I've got the skills that I need to have to be successful in dating. And so maybe you've noticed that the women that you are meeting are nothing like the women you dated when you were younger or when you met your wife or former partner. And so today, this is not about blaming either of the genders. Let's just be clear on that. But today I want to unpack why it feels like you just can't please women. And I want to share 3 big shifts that explain why dating feels so different today.
Let's talk about that, because this is why I talk about a lot of these dating coaches, because there's a lot of material that you can really decipher out of how, especially female dating coaches or dating influencers talk to men. And so what's the main thing here? The main message you get in society is women do all these things. They're not held accountable for them. These are what they are. Learn how to deal with it. You know, learn how to be self-sacrificial and deal with it. That's more or less it. It's never, them talking about women needing to be more accountable, hold them up to a high standard, etc. It's, women are emotional. That's all it comes down to. And don't take anything they say seriously and be stoic and don't let anything rattle you and all this bullshit. It's just not beneficial. All it is it's build a simp. It's how to build overly agreeable men that they want. But they're doing that subconsciously, thinking that because they think that certain kind of way, that all men should act that particular way. But they go for the absolute opposite of guys and respect guys who do the opposite of those things, which are being overly agreeable, all that sort of stuff.
And how you can stop trying to impress women. Stop wasting your energy on trying to impress women. Feel some peace within yourself. And what I want you to do is start connecting with women in the ways that actually matter for your happiness, health, and the success of that relationship. Now, welcome to this channel. My name is Kimberly Hill. I'm a men's dating and relationship coach. I support good-hearted men to attract deeply loving relationships, and then I support them to go on and maintain those loving relationships. And what I do know is that the dating landscape has changed. You can debate me on that, but it certainly has changed. And many divorced men who are re-entering dating after potentially decades out of the dating scene, maybe you haven't even really flirted with a woman in 10, 20, or 30 years. But what you are going to be noticing, or a majority of you men are noticing, and you certainly have reported to me as a coach that has worked with many men, is that...
How can women... I don't get it. I know I've said this a lot of times. They call themselves coach. How can a woman who's never experienced what life's like for a man coach men? It's like me coaching women. I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I can maybe give you some tips and pointers. I wouldn't call myself a coach. No idea. Has it really changed? Not really. There's more technology around. Women have always been women. Women have always done the things that I talk about, or the things that men don't want to acknowledge, such as cheating and multi-dating and ripping men off through divorces, being very strategic, very cunning, treating men as disposable. That's always happened. Now it's more readily, easily to observe, right? You've got TikToks and you've got videos and creators like me and many others who are bigger than me, who have been around for a lot longer. So people are a bit more aware of it all. Nothing's changed. Now you've got smartphones. Women have got more power, especially in the early stages of the dating phase than ever. That's the only thing that's really changed.
The women you're meeting are all at very different stages of life. They can be very independent women. Some of them are very experienced women. And some women are very clear. I had a client that said, like, a woman basically brought a checklist to a date that she's very clear on what she wants from a relationship and a man. And so,
but she's saying that like that's outrageous. And would you bring a checklist? But would you a physical one? No, but most women do have a checklist. And I don't any minor deflection or you go off and say something that critiques her in any way or is in direct opposition to what may be on her checklist, she'll cut you loose instantly. Make no mistake about it. Make absolutely no mistake about it. Absolutely ruthless. Women, I can tell you what, they're probably worse the older they get because they become a lot more cunning, a lot more strategic. And the reason for this is because their future safety and comfort is tied to locking down another man at this stage of their life. I'm talking 40 plus, even 35 plus. Super calculating on the kind of guy it is. Absolutely ruthless. They are hunting men. They are analysing men, observing men, and making calculated decisions based on what is the most they're going to get out of it from a resource perspective, time perspective, comfort perspective. People say to me, it's not all about money, G-Man. It's not all about money. It is. It is all about money. Think about if you've ever been divorced or you've had to have a financial settlement of some kind. It is exactly all about money. That's what you're there fighting over. That's what you're there squabbling over. That's what you have in a war zone with someone that you initially, only a few months before, or lying in a bed, they were your wife. They're the most trusted person in your life. Now they're trying to extract as much money out of your wallet through your ass as possible without any care, without any compassion for how you're going to end up after that process. They don't give a shit. You're done. You've been discarded. The pack horse mule, it's been decommissioned, and they just need to take whatever scraps they can off the carcass, i.e. Whatever money they can get out of you, the final benefit. All right, guys, before we go, consider subscribing to the channel. Like, comment, and share. Check out the Patreon if you want to support me further. Link to that's in the video description. And if you guys want to talk to me, shoot the breeze or whatever, you're able to do that and book something in through the Calendly link in the video description. I know a few of you have been asking, so I've set that up now, and I've had some good calls so far. All right, let's go.
Old expectations aren't really fitting into the puzzle of today's modern dating landscape. And women today, at least a large portion of women, don't need provision from men. They don't necessarily feel as if they need protection, although I really believe it is fundamental duty of men to protect women, women to serve men. But nonetheless, a lot of women feel they don't need a man for protection, at least in the same way. What they are looking for, the majority of women, is
a complete sucker. Call me a cynic. A complete sucker who doesn't know too much about women, who has no issue committing. and in a short term with making it easy for them. Because women in that age range get very, very fed up with men very quickly, because the minute they want, a lot of the time, have a lot of experience with women, and they've got a lot to lose, and so they get the title, the shaming title, which is you're emotionally unavailable, you're a commitment phobe, he doesn't want to grow up, whatever it may be. So she stops chasing those kind of guys. She's going for the friendly idiot, the bumbling idiot kind of guy who's happy to be there. He doesn't get much attention from women. He doesn't have the personality. He might look good, but he might not have the personality for it, the confidence for it. Especially coming out of divorces, a lot of men, self-esteem is crushed. It is through the floor. Like you have going through the worst time of your life. It takes a long time to recover that confidence and self-esteem and get back on the market and learn all about it. So a lot of these women, they actually actively try and hunt guys who are recently wounded. Why? Because they're needy. These men are needy. They're trying to fill a hole in their life, and these women know it. That's why I remember early on when I was earlier separated. I wasn't even divorced or anything. I was literally separated for a couple of months, and you start going on dates and shit like that. And it comes up in conversation, and you're like, yeah, no, I'm going through a separation/divorce. I'm like, oh, does that not... Because at the time I wasn't feeling very confident. I said, does that not put you off at all? They go, no, it shows you can commit. It shows you can commit. There you go. So they're going after guys like that. No, I wasn't dumb enough. I had my guard up. I had a number of women really try and sell me the dream quick. But as I said, the coldest thing that a man can experience is how quickly a woman will turn once she realizes no benefit to gain out of you, or it's not going to go anywhere, or she is, quote unquote, wasting her time with you, because time is a very limited resource. You will just see them tweet, like turn off. Boom. I had one woman once, I think she must have been, if you really think about this kind of babe, very attractive woman. I'd only known her for about a month. She was writing me long text messages about how she wanted me to get her pregnant, and she wanted to have a little baby, and she was in love with me, and she wanted I'll be the best father and would have the best looking kids, and blah, 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 blah. And she's never felt this way before, and all this sort of shit. Fast forward about a week, and I was hanging out with her. We were house sitting. She was house sitting, and I went over to visit her. And I don't know, she was just being a bit of a bitch. She was trying to banter me. You know how women can be quite pointy with their banter. Anyway, I turned around and said a few things, just friendly, because she's so attractive. She ain't used to men doing that. So I backhanded and complimented her, said a few things that are a bit pointy, with a straight face. And she goes to me, she looked at me square in the face. She's all lovey-dovey with me before she started stuffing around. She goes, get your shit and get the fuck out. Never talk to me again. I didn't even say anything that serious. She just realised that it was a lost cause. And she was joking about, that's what she was joking about, me having a threesome with one of her attractive friends. And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever, line it up. I was only stuffing around too, because I knew that wasn't going to go down well. Then she threw me out. I instantly made a decision and turned off. And it was also apparent, because she was whinging to me that particular day, that things weren't going the way she wanted. She wasn't feeling assured of herself. She wanted me to assure her that things were going to go somewhere. And I couldn't do it. So with those two things combined, completely turned. Green-eyed monster came out, told me to get the fuck off and never come back. There you go. Bullet dodged.
Emotional connection, compassion, and shared joy. They want a man to have fun with, a man that they can spend time around that makes them feel good, and you want to be around a woman who makes you feel needed and happy in your body and all of these things. And so I had a client who said he would continuously kind of talk about his career and achievements to women, but women would look quite bored at that. Why? Because this woman wasn't needing to read his resume. She was certainly not interviewing him for a job at her firm that she runs. She was
That's incredible. But the truth of the matter is that most guys are in the interview process, whether they know it or not. you'll be put through the ringer, especially with a woman who is really trying to lock down some idiot and quick. She'll ask you a lot of really personal, pointy questions and make a determination on you very quickly of whether it's like a cost-benefit analysis of time and her effort. Is it better served throwing you away and trying to find some other moron who will, be more likely a victim? Once again, I want to talk about this. There was a girl I was going out with for a little while, probably 5 or 6 years ago now, and she was really trying to get me on the hook, telling me as well she wanted to have my babies and all this sort of shit, and she wanted to marry me and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, it really wasn't going to plan for her. I was just not being committal, or I was not even giving her much of a response when she would have these conversations, pretty sort of avoidant type behaviour. And so she realised that it wasn't worth it for her. So she literally one day just blocked and deleted me. I never even heard from her again. Blocked and deleted me. And I saw on Facebook about a year and a half later, she was married. She was literally posted her wedding photos. So she's fucked me off. And good luck to her. Hey, maybe I'm good luck Chuck for a lot of these women. She's fucked me off and then gone and locked down some guy really quick. And then within a year and a half, married. Job done. But only literally a year and a half earlier, she was begging some other guy, or just about begging, doing the hard sell to marry her, come aside her, give her kids, all this shit. Absolutely mercenary.
Wanting this man to be present. To be, I use the word presence, I use the word attuned. Maybe those words are too laughy, faffy, gaffy, whatever. She wanted to feel connected to that man in ways that had nothing to do with accomplishments or work. She wanted to feel good in her body when she was with that man. And a man wants to feel good in his body when he's around a woman. So that's what I mean by attunement and presence and these woo-woo words that sometimes I can throw around or other people talk about. And so why the heck does it feel so hard to please women these days, right? And one of the reasons is
How's that language? Like, please them. Guys, I can get young guys trying to do this. I can, because they don't know no better, right? They're living life with rose-colored glasses on about what you're getting. Even if she is a nice girl and all that, what you're getting when you get married and all that is not what you think you're going to get when you're in the courting stage. Otherwise, no guy would do it. No guy would sign up to the deal. Pleasing. So little boys, little young men, little young Steve-Os jumping through hoops, trying to get some clunge or trying to get a girl on the hook, and is following the programming that a man must do, more or less self-humiliation rituals to get there. What's a self-humiliation ritual? Putting up with women's disrespect and bullshit, swallowing your pride, biting your tongue. Many men will do it just to have an attractive woman or a woman that they really like in their life. I kid you not. That's why life is all about pleasing. I don't want to please a 40-year-old. I don't want to please a 45-year-old. I'm not interested. She got to please me. Pleasing these women. So these guys are probably going to coaching from her. They might have some money to spend. If they're actually going to coaching with her, who knows if they actually are, or she's making it up. I'm sure she wouldn't be cheap. So they got money to throw in the bin. So these guys have probably got a lot more going for them from a financial and security perspective than what 99% of women will have. But you still got to qualify yourself for them to provide for them and make them safe while probably not getting much of a benefit. Just think about how backwards that sounds. Why do I sound like a prick? Most women, especially ones middle age, who are on the dating market and single, looking for their next target, they're doing that out of desperation as well because they haven't been good with their money. It's hand to mouth. They may have had divorce settlements and they've pissed those up the wall. Very common. I was only speaking to my mate Larry the other day, and he was telling me that because he paid out an astronomical amount of money to his ex, and he told me she's just wasting it hand over fist. She's just gone on a couple of month holiday to Europe. A couple of months. Now her income would never be able to support that. The money he also gave her, she put a whole bunch of it on a property. So Larry's just about bought her a house and now paying for overseas holidays in which she paid, so i.e. Larry paid for her boyfriend's ticket. To add insult to injury. So these women waste the money they get. They get what would you call it? They get the lotto by divorcing a guy, hundreds of thousands of dollars a lot of the time, but they're never going to be able to get that much money in their life. Not because they wouldn't be able to earn it, because they're not disciplined enough to make something of it and grow that wealth over time. That's it. Like, this is the biggest amount of money they're ever going to have. Piss it up the wall. So her saying women aren't looking for money is a lie. It's a lie. It's a business and it is all about money, and that's why, guys, you need to have your eyes open with that too. Don't just fall blindly for love. Protect your ass. Protect yourself. Protect your ass from getting spread open with no coconut oil.
You're not the same man that you were. You are not the same man that you were when you got married. Completely fundamental. In fact, all your cells have even turned over. So you are biologically not even the same, right? And you may have shut down emotionally in your marriage. Let's just take a broad assumption that if you had a marriage that didn't work out or ended in divorce, that at some point in that marriage, you shut down. So you have changed since pre-marriage. You might even be carrying around like a big ass burden, shame, guilt, or you might even be carrying around a sense of failure about your relationship, maybe even about your manlyhood and about your divorce for certain, or your long-term relationship that didn't work out, right? And so if you are entering dating with that weight, it's going to make you feel like you have to climb a mountain just to be worthy. And what women are very good at doing is picking up that heaviness. And so if a woman is busy with work and picks up that heaviness from you, she will choose not to pursue a relationship with you, regardless of how amazing you appear on the surface, because it's too heavy for this woman, and that heaviness is going to feel like a barrier to having that connection she is seeking with you.
I.e., locking you in like a complete sucker without questioning the process and identifying any of the risks involved. That's the translation there. So she's speaking more from the female perspective, what females want, and she's not talking about what men should be doing. That's why I don't believe in female dating coaches. Like, it's just bad advice.
Reason number 2, women are not the same anymore. The women that you meet are more often than not going to be more financially independent. They're going to be a little more self-reliant, and they're going to be seeking that emotional connection. They're not just seeking stability. It's very likely, if you're dating again after divorce, that a woman you meet already has a semblance of stability in her life.
You've got to be joking, right? Not everyone's a single boss babe. Like, I don't know if she's married or not, but like giving off those boss babe vibes where they have big careers. Majority are not. I've already talked about it. They literally got nothing to rub together. If they do have money, they are burning through it hand over fist, and they're looking for the next target. Because women believe if they can spend like that, the money's going to last forever. They see a big number, 400, 500K in their bank account. That's like an infinite money glitch. It's like when you hear about these people who come from poor backgrounds, they won hundreds of millions of dollars in the mega lotto, and 5 or 10 years later they're back, cleaning toilets because they blow it. There's no appreciation for it. There's no value with it. I know I'm ranting on a lot about money this time, but guys, middle-aged women are very dangerous. And is it directly do they want their money? No, indirectly they want it. How? Well, they're going to want you to, number one, to look after them, pay for shit, make them feel safe. Number two, she's going to get it eventually. Think to yourself this, if she's such a great woman, now I know things happen. I know sometimes guys play up and they do the wrong thing, or there is legitimate DV and all that. But all those situations aside, if she is such a great woman, how is she 35, 40, 45, 50, however old you're dating, and still single with the dumpster fire of a life? What have they done to the previous men in their life? How have they ended up there? What have they done to discard those men? Because a lot of them are very mercenary and very cunning.
So, what feels really hard to place is really these women wanting depth and joy and compatibility. Reason number 3.
Reason number 3. All right, reason number 3. There's see you next Tuesdays. I'll give you another reason before we hear her out, and then I'm not going to watch the rest of it. One thing I also notice as well, women want the fantasy. Okay, so if you're not making them feel a certain kind of way, especially as they get older, like they really latch on to that shit. They watch a lot of creators similar to her that'll be for women. Or male creators that are doing the grift, selling them a dream. You know, the 10 things men should make you feel, and the 10 non-negotiables with a man, and all this sort of stuff. And so they want to feel a certain way. They want to feel like you're ticking off all these things that these creators say, or what they read in some book. And if you don't do that, they cut these guys off at the legs. But what they don't realise is majority of men, 99% of men are never going to be able to meet the standards, number one, or do any of those things, if not most of them, all at the one time. But they don't give up on it. And they don't reflect inwards as well about what they could be doing better to maybe get a better type of guy. Oh, well, that's what I found. Even when I was, 35-year-olds, they're looking for this fairy tale, magic, lightning in a bottle love, which then turns into a serious relationship quickly with a marriage and a quick, just add water family, and then everything's going to be perfect. And that's just not the reality of life. That's what it is in my experience. Guys, put in the comments. I want to hear from you. If you're actively out there, is that what you're saying? If you're just having a break from it, or you're deciding just to have a spell for now, was that one of the reasons why you've done that?
Dating scripts, let's call it, don't work anymore. Telling your life story in a very heavy, depressing way does not draw women in. And I see men make this mistake. And you're not conscious of it. The men that do it are not conscious of it. This has happened in particular for men. I've worked with men that are dating.
Okay, so what she's saying here is don't be vulnerable, and it's very true. Don't tell people things about you. You don't need to tell these women on the first or second date, your wife fucking cheated on you and dragged you through your family court and all of that. You feel like, because they'll ask you a question about it. So well, she's asking. Maybe she really wants to know. I don't want to hear that shit. And they'll start asking you questions and probing and asking you all these questions about it once you open up, and then they'll just fucking cut you loose because they think you're a basket case, and you probably are. But you don't need them to know that, especially if your early days coming out of a divorce. This goes, once again, directly against what majority of women will say, and society says that men need to talk more. So you're literally telling somebody your most vulnerable moment, thinking, because a lot of guys think, okay, I'm going to be vulnerable here, I'm going to share some information with her. And it backfires. They don't want to hear it. Or they might want to hear it, like they're interested in the gossip or the tea, so to speak. They'll ask a lot of questions. But they're not interested in taking on a guy who is, to them, not stable, mentally stable. Right? That's what a woman's going to think. She's going, he's not stable, he's emotional, whatever. Her eyes are going to roll back in her head. Anytime I've ever opened up to women, I haven't done it for a very long time, but every time I've done it, you can see their eyes just glass over. Like they're nodding and stuff, but they've just fucking switched off on you.
Again, not after a divorce, but after their partner passes away. And so that's very, very hurtful. It's very deep. That's going to impact you for the rest of your life, let's be honest. But then these men get into the dating space and they're kind of honoring their former wife or former partner in a way by telling the story of their life, but there's a heaviness and a depression that comes through that, and that's not going to connect with women, of course, because firstly, she's going to go, I can't compete with that. Whether you're talking about your former wife that passed away, or you're talking about an ex that you no longer feel connected to, either way, a new woman in front of you, it's not going to draw her in. That energy is actually quite repelling.
I'm going to agree with her on that one. I can't pull her apart on this comment. Well, I think that's probably the only good advice I've ever heard her say over the last maybe four videos I've done of hers.
That doesn't mean you don't need to emotionally process all of that stuff. You do, but you just don't process it with a new woman you want to date, right? And so old dating scripts no longer work. You can't just impress women with money or achievements that fall flat. And the women that are impressed by these things are not the kind of women the men who are watching my channel are wanting to be in relationships with.
But they don't know that. Most guys don't know that. Most guys think you have to lead with all that sort of stuff. It's the programming. I'm not going to say all women are out there looking for a mark. I'm sure there are really nice women who just love to have a boyfriend or company and not rip a dude off. I got that, but there are too many cases out there where it's the opposite of that, and that's why men have their guard up, and that's why I just want to warn you guys just about that. It sounds super cynical. I talk to Larry about it all the time. He doesn't want to hear it because it's a very uncomfortable truth to have to confront how you're being viewed by women, which is, look, a utility, a value provision.
If you just want a transactional relationship, I pay for your attention or whatever to be my side piece, this channel is not for you, because that's not the psychology of individuals I'm speaking to. So trying to impress with money or achievements is not the ticket to having the relationship that the men that are here in this community are seeking and wanting. And what women want now is men who are comfortable in themselves, men that are curious about life, men that are competitive.
Oh, come on. That's like the biggest generalization ever. I don't buy it. She said a couple of good things and now she's just completely blown it up with rubbish. Think about all the Tinder swindler stuff. Today, recently, if you go and check the G-Man Speaks TV channel, just about an hour ago from when you may watch this, I released a Tinder swindler, Australian Tinder swindler story, who says all she was looking for love. But hang on, the Tinder swindler guy, once again, it's a playbook. He plays on that he's got money, he gets her on the hook, and then he ends up robbing her money. Oh, I just wanted a relationship. No, you didn't. It's all bullshit. It's all part of the package. All right, that's enough for me, guys. I'm going to leave it there. Once again, like, comment, share. If you're new and you're still considering subscribing, press the subscribe button. It does help me out. And as I said, if you want to speak to me on a call, can be about whatever you want. You want to shoot the shit, shoot the breeze, or you want to talk to me about something a bit more serious, the link's in the video description if you would like to try and book something in. All right, thank you, guys.